obviously everybody knows that we're getting ready to play this little set. Before we get started, I just have several people that I want to thank. First off, Dave Cole with the camera room. He's actually sitting in here. But I want to thank Dave and their staff. These people here are unbelievable. I've had nothing but great experiences here. The food is amazing. So if you ever get a chance or get in the area, you need to stop up here in Beloit, Wisconsin at the camera room. Then second off, I want to thank my family for all the support that they've given me, and allowing me to get to the point that I'm at in my life is pretty amazing. Then probably just as important as the other two that I mentioned are the sponsors. QB Custom Cues is like my family now, and we started out as a business partnership and we've become like brothers, Ken Thyman and I. And then obviously I've got some other great sponsors, but check out QB Custom Cues at qbcustomcues.com. Then Simonis and Aramith, Ivan Lee. I don't think you can get a better representative in the business. The guy has the best cloth, the best object balls and cue ball that there is. I want to thank Simonis and Aramith. Then a good friend of mine from Iowa, Pat Devaney Custom Cues. These guys are all title sponsors that I'm mentioning. My partner Jason Chance and the owner of greenmail.com. That guy is my partner in the Ice House, which we'll discuss a little later in the interview. He's been a rock in my life for many, many years. And then Mike Hong, with Omega Billiards. Mike has been a supporter of pool for as long as I can remember, and you know, he's never turned me down. Omega Billiards is one of the biggest billiard supply stores are online in the country. And then Fast Action Cue, which is FAC, F-A-C, Fast Action Cue. I'll be playing with their shirts this weekend. They've got some awesome shirts that they made for me. The National Billiard Academy, they've done a great job coming on board. Then obviously Outsville with Chris Renfro, he's the man. They've stepped up to the plate. And last but not least, my man Lenny with On the Rail TV. He's been with me for 10 years now, and started out playing after in a little match, kind of like what we're doing here. We had close to 300 spectators, and he's grown into a business of his own with On the Rail TV, selling DVDs, doing major events. I think you're really going to enjoy what he's got to bring to the table here this weekend. I just really want to say thanks to all these people, because they took the time to get us money to make all this happen. It's not cheap to get about 15 people here, expenses paid. Then last but not least, my man Jason Sword, I want to thank him and his brother, and then Matt Wigman and Hank the Tank. Hank's a local here, but these guys are behind me all the way, and you know, they know how I feel, I know how they feel, and we really don't need to say much of anything. I'm just real comfortable with them in my corner. And last but not least, Mark Kendall, guitarist for Great White. I hope he doesn't get mad at me, but they're coming out with a new album, and he sent me a shirt, and I promised I wouldn't say that they're coming out with a new album, but they are. And they're a famous old rock group, which they used to travel with Guns N' Roses, had the same manager. Lenny knows him real well, but I used to play this guy, Mark Kendall, which is an unbelievable person. I used to play him when I was 18 years old in Des Moines, Iowa. He'd be on tour playing at one of the arenas, and he loves pool and he plays real good. But he sent me this shirt, so during the tournament, during the match, I'll be wearing my sponsor shirts and all the patches. Once again, I thank all y'all, but this shirt is for my man Mark Kendall. We've got a lot of memories, and I was real young, and I was probably a little bit of a cocky human being, but he put up with me and we had a lot of fun, and now here we are 20 some years later. We're real good friends and we talk all the time. He's been working in Nashville on an album that their group's coming out with, and it's going to be pretty awesome. But from there, I'm going to introduce my man. This is Jason Sword, and he is my main man. He's my corner guy. He's the one that He's the one that has the cheese, and for a guy that doesn't really play pool, if you have been around them or been at Derby City, their knowledge is pretty amazing. You know, I have total faith in them. If they have a match that they want to bet or stack up against, I'm in with them. They don't really even ask me information on what I think about. They do at times about what I think about this match or that match, but at the Derby, they cleaned house. I mean, they basically busted the whole place, and it was pretty fun to watch. But this is Jason Sword, and he's going to be asking me a few questions, and then once we get through that, we're going to let you guys ask a few questions, because I'm looking at my ugly mug right now and seeing what. And no, I'm not going to Chinook Wins this month. I can't, but we'll discuss that in a little bit.
All right, so I have a few questions for Scout here, and you guys chime in with some good ones, and we'll take yours as well. I guess the first one, Scout the Freezer Frost. How did you get the nickname the Freezer?
Yeah, it was at a pool or a bar called Super Toads in Des Moines, Iowa. They had a weekly tournament, and I 3-fouled the best player in town. And the last one, obviously he was on 2, and the tournament director was watching. And the last one, I had to freeze the cue ball on the rail and to the object ball. If I didn't do it, there's no way to 3-foul this guy. He's gonna make a good hit. It was just a funny situation, and I did it. And the tournament director goes, "That's why we should call him the Freezer." And from there on, it just stuck. I mean, it was cool. At the time, I couldn't probably beat anybody, but I thought I could, of course. And so it was cool. I enjoyed it, and it stuck with me. And I guess it's a good nickname.
Yeah, it's not a bad nickname to have, playing one pocket.
When your last
freezing,
right, and your last name Frost.
Yeah, and Frost. It just fits. So.
It fits, and I like freezing them on that top rail.
Yeah,
so
that's good. Freeze them everywhere. So, I guess the next question is, talk a little bit about how you prepared for this match, both mentally and physically. You know, a month leading up, a week leading up, and you know, the last few days. What have you been doing, and discuss those thoughts?
Sure. Well, when I moved to Phoenix, everybody thought that I just woke up one day and ran out. So people have to understand, you see finished products and everything. Like when you're watching NBA, that's a finished product. Everybody on the squad has done so much work to get to where they're at. So my mental preparation is probably fine-tuned itself because of so many failures. I mean, nobody gets to where they are if they're at the top without failing many, many more times over than they succeeded. You know, their failures are much smaller, hopefully, than their successions, but most of the time it's a training and process, and it's happened over years. So what I do, and I said this in the interview the other night, most people understand this, but top players, once they get to a certain level, in my opinion, the preparation is mental. For me, yeah, I hit balls, and it's a different way of hitting balls. I hit balls pretending that I'm in the moment, pretending I'm in that situation. It's different, right? Like if I didn't have this match coming up and I was at a pool room hitting balls, I really don't feel motivation. At my age, it's a lot tougher to find that drive, that rush, and what I need. For this, I feel the motivation because I'm putting myself in that ring, playing Dennis. So the preparation is I would every day. It's like a light switch, and my poor woman, you know, I've been with her 9 years, Erica. She knows when it happens. We don't even have to talk, but I just change. My whole personality changes. I don't become rude, but I just become quiet, and I dry erase things on the mirror. You know, so every time I wake up in the morning, I look at what I wrote, and I imprint that into my mind. Over a period of time, it just becomes part of my everyday life. You know,
I've seen pictures.
You guys have made fun of me for it.
But what are some of the things you might write up there? Maybe one line.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
But they're things that matter to me. They can be anything. It can be personal, right? It can be anything that triggers your mind to get into that zone.
So you've been in the zone ever since you found out about this match?
Yeah.
even at home with your
Yeah,
girl.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's probably what it takes to be at this level. So
Yeah.
there's a good question here from Stephen Fair. What drives you to be the best, whether it's gambling or tournament after all these years? What's your motivation to be the best?
It's a good question, but I tell anybody this, that in anything they do, I don't care if you're a software developer or you're an artist, if you want to be the best and you put your mind to it, it's so true. It's so true. There's so many excuses in life. I hear people, I'd like to have $1 every time somebody came up to me and said, if I didn't have kids, I'd have played as good as you, or if I didn't have a job, I'd have played as good as you. Listen, you can find a way. It's right here to be the best, and I'm not saying that I'm the best. I don't want to even say that anymore. I feel like I have been for a long time. There's another player out there that we're going to find out if I'm the best or not if I win this match. But it's right here. Your drive and telling yourself that you're going to be the best. I talk to myself all the time. I never shut up in my head. I'm always telling myself that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And you have to do that. But anybody can do it. That's the beauty of life, in my opinion, especially when you're young. You have to take advantage of it, and that'll lead to something else, which is a junior program. But if you tell yourself you can do it, and you go after it, it's not going to come to you. You have to chase it down. It'll happen. It can happen. And nobody has to be the best. I mean, you don't have to be the best, but you can get good at anything you want to get good at if you really focus on it. And you've really got to put your heart into it. It's got to be an obsession. And that's what it was with me. It was an obsession.
What kind of things did you do because you were obsessed?
Yeah.
I know you've chased some of the best players for years.
But
kind of talk about that a little bit, how that's helped you.
I'll say this. My mom kept track. I played 10 hours a day, and I finished high school, but 2 of these years were my junior and senior year in high school, and then another 3 years. I played 10 hours a day for 5 straight years, and I missed 3 days because I was too sick to play. And I finished high school like that. I missed like 65 days my senior year, and I still graduated, thank God. My parents would have killed me. But the obsession that I had couldn't keep me away. I mean, you had to be 21 to go in this pool room. But I got kicked out so many times that the owner finally realized that there was no keeping me out, and that my passion and desire was worth letting me in. So I'd have to go in the back door, and then I'd have to sneak out my window at night. I had a milk crate. When I jumped out the window, I would put a dummy in my bed. And the only nights I'd get caught are the nights my mom was doing laundry. She'd bring laundry in, and sometimes the dummy worked. You know, I had a gorilla mask, and I would comb the gorilla mask and I'd lay it. Oh, I put it in a basketball, one of those smaller basketballs, and then I'd make a dummy in my bed. So one night she catches me, and I thought I was being real slick. I took her company car to the pool room, and that wasn't a good move. No, she caught me, and she come in the back room and seen me in the pool room. And basically, I was shooting the 8-ball playing a guy named the UPS Man. And I was shooting the 8-ball, and she said, "Scott Frost, if you shoot that ball, I'm going to break that cue in half." And we're playing 50 a game, and I'm straight in the side on it. So when I shoot it, I had to shoot it, right? And she comes running in. It was just a sneaky Pete at the time. And she snapped it right over her knee. It was like the whole pool room just dead stopped in silence. And she drug me out by my ear. And the ride home wasn't fun. But I snuck out the next night. You know,
caught?
I got caught all the time. There was just that's my point to this story, is that when you want something bad enough, nothing should get in your way. I mean, there should be nothing that gets in your way. And I know you know that you're very competitive.
Kids out there, do not sneak out of your
No.
bedroom window at night.
No. Pool nowadays has changed. You know, I think the image is much cleaner now. I think the young guys that we have in our sport are good. You know, there's a lot less gambling, and when there is money matches, it's promoted like this, which I don't think it gets any better. Look at the sponsors we have. I mean, this is not seedy. This is not shady. This is straight up one-on-one. This is the real deal.
Well, let's go into that a little bit. You know, clean, shady. These are a lot of the things that get tossed around, you know, social media amongst pool fans. You know, we, as a group, have seen a few spots where people say, you know, the match is fake. It's, you know, it's all this. It's a dump. Let's
Well-
let's address the elephant in the room and put it to bed, because I
There's-
know that
it-
I know it. The truth.
Listen, there's been times when people have done things right, but you can't put a finger on it, you can't prove it. I can tell you this, if you heard my interview the other night, 99% of top players, and when I say top players, I'm talking top echelon players, they didn't get to where they are because they were doing business or chopping a steak or something. Because when you do that, you don't win, okay?
Makes you weak.
And it makes you weak inside. It makes your spirit weak. It makes your everything, your mental game weak. And once you do that the first time, you just keep doing it. Well, you already sold your soul to the devil, right? So most top players have way too much pride. And I'm not going to speak for any particular one, but I will speak for this one. I got way too much pride. I'm a pretty emotional character, and I believe in what I believe in. I was raised by a really good family, and I told the story the other night. When I was 18, I was playing a match for $200 in the pool room that I grew up in, and this guy that I was playing talked me into splitting money, and I dumped the guy. And I was so stupid and naive, I went and chopped the money up in the bathroom. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. His name was Randy Johnson, and he was about the size of the pitcher Randy Johnson. He was a bodybuilder, and he picked me up with one hand. I was 160 back then, soaking wet. Picked me up with one hand, slammed my head against the wall, and I thought he was going to kill me. And he said, "You know, I like you. I'm not going to hurt you. But this, and this," and that was it for me, right? But I think everybody's had some type of a lesson in their life. But at this level, you're going to have people out there that are miserable in their lives. If they're miserable in their own life and they need some type of a rise or some type of attention, they'll do whatever it takes. And that's the sad part about pool, because we're not big enough to overcome a lot of things yet. There's not enough money in it. In golf, if somebody says something, who cares? You can go out and win $1 million the next event. But here, a lot of attention is attracted to the people that make these comments. And we need to work together and shy away from stuff like that, because it's not helping the game. A match like this very rarely happens. So enjoy it, cherish it, soak it all in, and just understand that there's too many people involved. When somebody says that, let's just say this match is business, right? Well, you're pretty much accusing the owner of the pool room. You're pretty much accusing him. You're pretty much accusing him. There's a lot of people that can get affected by what you're saying. And it's not cool at all. Unless you have proof, you don't say nothing.
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. There's so much pride in both corners.
Mm-hmm.
Dennis and yourself and the people behind it, and Dave Coles and everybody involved. I mean, to cook up a big conspiracy theory and say these things. I talked to you that night when we first read the first post about it online, and our immediate thing that we came to was, let's just not respond to it. We have nothing to hide. Everybody knows.
Right.
That is anybody that's in the know knows that it's not. So we can handle whatever it is, because it doesn't matter. We know it's real.
And I agree.
And, you're to the point of your career, and this will lead us to the next question. You're not going to be doing what you're doing right now 6 months from now or a year from now.
Right.
So your life is changing a lot, and you're not on your way out of pool, but you're on your way out of where you're at right now in your life, and we'll touch on that. But it means too much to your career to fix anything, and nobody's going to lie about the money. We could have said that this match was for $5,000, and everybody would have been just as interested.
Or $500,000.
So, yeah, whatever it is.
Anything if it wasn't real.
There's a lot of parties involved. It's not just one person betting on either side. It's a bunch of people and everybody that just wants to be involved to grow the sport and help it. So
in respect to that, Roy, the guy that's with Dennis, is a great guy, and I thanked him last night. I took him outside, had a cigarette, and I thanked him very much last night for the opportunity to do this. I've never really played a match like this where both sides get along. Like Dennis and I are friends off the table. Jason and Alan, and they're all friends. We're all friends. Like we're all around each other. But this is just strictly competition to see who's the best player. And I think Dennis is taking a shot at me because he knows I'm on my way out. Which brings us to the next question. There's nothing wrong with it. I love it.
So you know you're on your way out. Let's talk about that. I think everybody has seen a little bit about the Ice House, the new pool room
Yep.
that you and Jason Chance
Mhm.
are starting up, and talk about the Ice House a little bit and what has made you want to take that jump in your career and changing, you know, careers a little bit. So.
Well, I started with the old school, right? The people that taught me how to play coming up were Ronnie Allen, Cliff Joyner, Efren Reyes, Keith McCready, and it was a rough life back then. And I always told my father that I would make him proud. He passed away in 2003. And I always told myself I'm not going to be one of those drunk alcoholics that end up dead or broke. And I'm not naming any of them because they're mostly passed away now. And they were all friends of mine. And I know that I have to cement something for myself. Otherwise, everything I've done up to this point is null and void and really no good. So I've had a dream to open a pool room for the last 20 years, and I'm 41, right? And you keep playing matches like this and see how your body feels when you're done. And I don't have a lot of them left in me, I don't think, and I'm ready to take the next step. I've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you, just as you know, after I beat Efren in July, what have I done since then? I've done nothing. I sat there and I stewed. And you can never, there's nothing you want to do more than play after you win a match like that and play like I did. I played excellent. And there's nothing you want to do more than play. And then you got to go home, you wake up the next morning, you look at your dogs, and your dogs are looking at you, and you just feed your dogs. There's nothing to do. So it gets really frustrating. My life has had a lot of ups and a lot of downs. A lot of downs, a lot of ups. It's been really hard, but I've enjoyed it. I wouldn't take back 1 minute of it. I just think I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. And I want to give back to the community. I want to have something unbelievable for people to come play in, eat in, enjoy. And my biggest focus in my business is going to be probably our junior program. I've got great people in certain positions of this business, but one of my biggest focuses will be the junior program and raising awareness that kids need to play this game more. Not competitively. You just need to get them playing the game. They'll take the competition on their own to a new level. If a kid has your heart or my heart, they're going to find a way to get great at it. And you show them the basics, and you show them the right way, and they'll run with it. And that's all we need to do. And hopefully some people out there listen to this, and you can contact the BEF, Billiard Education Foundation, and they'll walk you through it. There's easy ways to do it, or you can do it on your own. There's no law on how to start a junior program, but I can tell you this: you can take 4 kids that you know, talk to a pool room owner where kids are allowed with a parent. You go in on a Sunday afternoon and you show them how to play pool or how to shoot the cue ball, and you just start with it like that, and it will grow a life of its own. And before you know it, like I said in that little interview the other night, you'll have 30 or 40 kids, and believe me, you'll have 1 or 2 kids out of that group that you think might have the ability to be a top player, and it just happens. I mean, nobody had to hold my hand, and I know that I don't have to hold any young people's hands. They're like sponges. They've got all the talent in the world, and they're dying to learn. So just really, what is hard for me is people talk about it. Yeah, I might do that, and nothing ever happens. You know me real well.
Are juniors allowed and you're going to be allowed in the Ice House?
Absolutely. We wouldn't even have it if it wasn't. Yeah, a state law in Arizona is that as long as they're accompanied with an adult, or there's more people playing pool than drinking at the bar, kids can come in. We've got a high school caddy corner from us. But do it. Don't talk about it. If you want to do it. Make it happen. I don't care if you got 4 kids, 8 kids, 10 kids, 12 kids. Make it happen in your part of the country. I don't care if you've got 8,000 people in your city. Just do it. You'll love it. And you can do it twice a month. You just start, and if you have any questions and you're serious, you can message me and I'll help you as much as I can.
How old were you when you started playing?
I was 17. Just turned. I was late. I was a first team All-State basketball player.
Tell a story about what made you want to play pool?
I had no clue what pool was. Never hit a pool ball in my life. I was the hardest worker on the team, and I played basketball my whole life. I had a court in the basement for when it snowed, and when it wasn't snowing, I was playing 8 to 10 hours a day. And my brother got real sick, and he was in the Air Force at the time, and he was stationed in New York. So my mom wrote my coach a note, and I missed one practice. We flew out there, saw my brother. I got back before that Friday night, and we had a game, and it was a traveling game. So I got my gym bag, I'm all excited. I knew I couldn't dress, that was just the rules, but I could be with the team. I got my gym bag and I'm going with the team, and we're walking out the gym door to the bus, and Coach Glenn says, Frost, what do you think you're doing? And I go, what? He goes, what do you think you're doing? I go, I'm going to the game, Coach. He goes, you ain't riding on that bus. And that's exactly what he said. And I took my gym bag and I did like a 360 and I just threw it at him. And I never touched a basketball since then. That following Monday, my buddy talked, our bus stop was right across the street from a pool room called Encounters. And Don McCoy owned it, ex-world champion. But my buddy talks me into sneaking in there. And the guy that I started gambling and traveling with hustled me for 22 bucks. I had $22 in my pocket. He asked me if I wanted to play $2 a game 8-ball. We'd been playing 30 minutes. I got broke. He broke me. And he said, you're a lefty, huh? And I thought using my bridge hand was playing right-handed. I can't write my name left-handed. I can't do anything left-handed at all. And I tried to switch to right-handed, and I was already used to it. My mind and my body was already used to it in that 30 minutes that I could never switch back to being right-handed, playing pool. So that's how it all started. I mean, that was it. I took all my emotion and energy from basketball and put it into pool. I'm a sick human being. I mean, I've got some problems. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just too competitive?
I'm obsessive. You know, if there's something I want to do and I want it, I'm not going to stop until I get it. And I always want to be a world champion 9-ball player for about the first 2 years.
Well, did you get tired of rotation or what?
It didn't stimulate me. It was just the same patterns, the same runs, the same thing over and over and over. And then I found one pocket. And I said, oh my God, this game's amazing. And so I realized at my age, back then, which was 19 is when I started playing one pocket, that I could make a lot of money. There wasn't cell phones, there wasn't internet. So I could move from town to town, and the older people would think, you know, I would hustle these older people to play 9-ball. And they'd say, no, I'll play you one pocket. Well, they were hustling themselves, right? I was getting spots in towns where they needed the spot. But the game just mentally stimulates me a lot more. I mean, there's just so many facets to the game at a top level. People say, oh, one pocket's boring. Yeah, well, it's not boring. If you want to play me, we'll see if it's boring. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not boring. There's straight pool in one pocket. There's bank pool in one pocket. There's tight position play like 8-ball. There's so many facets to the game. It's a real stimulating game, and I can tell you in America that it is the most watched pool game. The general public would much rather now, they are so much more educated, they'd much rather watch one pocket versus rotation. Any rotation game, 10-ball or 9-ball. And I'm not knocking the game. Trust me, I'm not hating. I love any type of pool game. I just personally can't get excited about it. And it's frustrated me because I wanted to be one of the best 10-ball or 9-ball players and probably would have if I never found one pocket. But it's always been a battle for me because I had to force myself to like 9-ball in order to start playing it good. And the only time that happened was a few years ago for the Moscone Cup. And got my heart ripped out there, so forget it.
Yeah, so I guess one of the other things is that the game of one pocket throughout your time has evolved quite a bit. What do you think the main thing that contributes to the evolution of one pocket up to this point?
Probably my ignorance. I mean, I used to have a lot of people with me, and I would shoot at my hole just about every opportunity I had, whether it was good or bad. So I burnt up a lot of bankrolls in that process, but I started to perfect it. You know, Cliff Joyner was, well, Cliff and Efren were without a doubt the most creative players that I was coming up around. And they were different styles. Efren's like this slippery, sneaky, smooth, creative magician. And Cliff is like this powerhouse, but still has this feel to him that, you know, he's they're different styles, right? So I just took what they had, and a few other players. Shannon Dalton was always one that I liked to watch. He was powerful, and I tried to like emulate that and build into my own style. And I became a real powerful one pocket player, and I was probably the most aggressive player for 8 to 10 years. And that's how Lenny and I came out with Power One Pocket One, and people loved it. It was really a great thing for the public.
And what about the up and coming players? Do you see?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. The game now, and this is what happens over time. I hope I live long enough to see what happens in the next 50 years. But you know, these guys now, Danny Smith, Josh Roberts, Justin Hall. I'm probably drawing blanks. Skyler, Billy Thorpe. These guys, you know, they're a flash of me, but they're probably a little sharper. You know what I mean? They're gonna be. They're a flash of me, but probably a little better. You know, but I can see them making mistakes before they make them. I know it's coming because I've been there. I've had that cold, dark drive down that long, long road. But the talent now, these guys have all taken the game to another level. They've taken it to another level, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I just wish they'd get up and play me, because I'm being honest. I'm not woofing. It's just that's how you pass it down. That's how the guard changes. You know, when I was young, Efren offered me 8 to 7, 14 years ago. And I looked at him and I said, I don't want 8-7. That's just a reason to lose. If you beat me even, you beat me. If I beat you even, I got something to say. So, you know, that's how it goes. And I just hope that one of them wants to step up and play. And they don't have to play me. Play Alex. See how it tastes. Because these kids play good enough to beat him and me. I think they play good enough. And maybe even Dennis, you know. But it's headed in a great direction. The kids that we have in the game are all good kids. They're all good kids. You know, they're not bad kids running around cussing, yelling, swearing. There's just not enough of them. There's just not enough of them. And it scares the crap out of me.
Well, you know, pool halls like Dave Coles has here, the Karen Room. You know, hopefully we can get more owners like this. Let's talk about the venue out there a little bit. The table, the setup. Anybody that's local that can stop by, or not local, you know, it's not a far drive from Louisville, St. Louis, Chicago.
I probably thank Dave about 10 or 15 times or every day, because every time I see him, just because I know what it takes to do everything right. And he definitely is a top pool remoter, because he's also a player. The guy is a great player, builds great cues. But what he's done here is, since we made this match happen 2.5 weeks ago, probably, everything I've asked him for without hesitation, and I'm not asking for myself, what I'm asking for is for the public, he's done without hesitation and without any feedback or I mean without any lip or anything like that. I mean he's the best, man. I mean he is, and we need pool remoters that are willing to go the extra mile to make things like this happen.
You know, that's why the free stream is here, is because, you know, Dave Coles added money, all the sponsors paid money. So, and you know, next time you see one of the sponsors, make sure you thank them for the free stream. You see Dave Coles, buy him a Coke, get him a hot dog.
Yeah, Dave.
That's why this match is happening.
That's right, and I didn't know if we could talk about it. Well, why not? I mean, Dave gave us an appearance fee, and I basically, since Dave had a big match here previously, that did not go through, and it was not his fault. I felt, and not only me, Jason and Alan, we felt like he deserved first shot at this. And what we asked for, I think, was very reasonable, wasn't crazy. But Dennis and I need money to take care of our expenses, and if one of us loses, I think we deserve to get paid for the stress and the work that goes through with all of this. But anyway, Dave didn't hesitate, and he came with it, and it was on. And it's been a straight focus ever since.
No, he didn't even stop and think 2 seconds. It was absolutely.
And he gets it, you know. And I want to say Mike Bates at Bullshooters in Phoenix, Arizona. This guy is, I'm not joking, him and Dave are a lot alike. This guy's a world champion dart player. He's in 5 different Hall of Fames. He was also the only one to ever be drafted into the major leagues 3 times. But he's the same way. He's never turned me down, added a ton of money. And you guys need to come out to Arizona if you get a chance. We're going to have some major events. And hopefully Dave and I can work together, and we'll keep pool alive, that's for sure. But I know Dave wants to continue to improve it, and that's definitely what I want to do. So I'll let you go with the next question.
Let's talk about the belt that Roy had made.
Oh yeah, Dennis's backer said that last night when we were having a talk. He said he's making. I was thinking we were gonna get a check or something. 200,000 is pretty cool. He said he went online and shopped it, and he's having it custom made. One of those like wrestlers belts. But I think it's cool, right? Like if I win this match, I get to hold this belt until somebody else challenges me. He's going to have stipulations on it. Like, you've got to bet this much. You've got to play even. You've got to... There's going to be stipulations, right? In order to get this belt from me or Dennis. And I think it's pretty cool. He's spending over $1,000 on this belt. And it's got room for all the sponsors on it. And then I appreciate that. But going from there, I wanted to real quickly talk about the difference between free stream and pay-per-view, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Lenny has been free streaming for, how long have you been in business, Lenny?
2007.
Since '07, and I mean he shot up like a cannon through the ranks. But we've always talked about being able to give the public a match like this for free, because I know it's not easy. I'm one of those guys that hate putting my card on and hate having to sign in and sign out and do all this. But for me, the biggest part of it is getting the game out to the public more. The public's going to gain knowledge of One Pocket. I had a guy telling me on Facebook the other day in a message. I said, my dream here is to have 50 to 100,000 viewers. And those viewers, let's just say 70% of those viewers don't know what One Pocket is. And it's going to happen. If you guys think that One Pocket is too complicated for an average person to learn, it's not true. Very simple. And I think that what we'll do is before we start, or somewhere along the way, maybe even in a commercial, we'll post the rules of One Pocket. And here's what I would do. If you're an average person sitting at home and you didn't know One Pocket, here are the rules I would state. Each player has a designated pocket. The first person to make 8 of any ball in that pocket wins the game. That's the rules, right? Now, when they're watching, the commentator steps in and talks about, well, if he makes a ball in this pocket, it spots up. Very easy to catch on to this game, and I think it's better than 9-ball and 10-ball. It's been going for years and years, and that game hasn't gotten anywhere. Well, the public's obviously taking on a new life in One Pocket. They're really enjoying the moves and the aggression and the passive aggression. So I think that what we're doing here could be a benchmark in the game. We've got people in Finland, we've got people in Scotland, China, Asia, Europe, all over the country that are going to be watching this. And don't think that the Chinese and the Filipinos aren't trying to learn this game. They know that if they can come over here and play top One Pocket, they can make enough money to build their own pool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is important to get it out to as many people as possible, and this allows it. So, everybody out there, feel free to share it on your Facebook page. Get as many people tuning in as you possibly can.
Please share
Support
it. Please share it. I think here's my last point to being a free stream. So once we have the numbers, like and I'm so thankful for the sponsors we have, but once Lenny gets numbers coming in, and we believe we'll hit 100,000 viewers. We believe it. Lenny hit 36,000 viewers streaming Schneck Wins last year. Okay. Now, when I played a pay-per-view match, the top amount of viewers is 500-600, not 1,000, 500 to 600. So I believe that once this is done, I can take these numbers, and I was talking to Greg Sullivan about it, now go to a corporate sponsor. I don't care if they give me 5,000 or 10,000. I'm not looking for $1 million. You just can't start like that. But I can take these numbers now and say, look, I had 100,000 people watching me walk around that stupid pool table. Okay? Now you give me a shirt or a patch or do something with us here. Let's work together, right?
Well, that's what it takes. You have to get a lot of people involved and watching in order to have a corporate sponsor even have any interest at all.
Absolutely, and
So,
we
you know,
can't
and
do it without
pay-per-view's
numbers.
not doing that. You know, look
When
what
pay-per-views-
pay-per-view did to boxing and you know any other sport that.
That's
you know,
true.
You have to be able to have it free to the public so they can watch the sport. So
It's the same diehards, Jason, the same diehards over and over, which I love and I want to thank. I mean, and I love all the streamers. I know that they're trying to make a dollar and I know that they're busting their butt. But I just feel like after so many years it's not working. Something else has to be done. Facebook didn't start out like Zuckerberg didn't charge everybody, right? He gave it away. You can't charge people, all right? Look at Bonus Ball. Poor Larry Shabor, good friend of mine. I mean, it bombed because he had to have some source of income. You can't charge, especially at a game you don't understand. You have to give it away, and it will catch fire if you give it away, and you get it to the mainstream. And I know I'm going to take these numbers, and I know what I'm going to do. I know that we're going to get some bigger corporate sponsors after this, whether I'm playing next or you're playing next. I don't really care, but I know that we're going to get bigger sponsors.
yeah. Here's a question for you: who do you think is the best player in the world? And you know, talk about maybe all around rotation and.
I
one
think the
pocket.
best all-around money player in the world, without a doubt, is Alex Pagulayan. And when people ask me, do I think? I don't think, I know, because I've felt it. I've played all the other top players, and I've played Alex. And I think he's the best all-around money player in the world. Big money player is Alex Pagulayan. Yeah, without a doubt. No question. Period. I don't even know if the guy I'm playing tonight can beat him playing 10 ball or 9 ball. Don't know. It's yet to be seen. I'd like to see that match.
Yeah. Here's another one. What kind of strategy do you have going into this race? Just you know.
Listen, it's real simple. It's no secret. My strength is knowing the game. When I played Efren in July, these guys were with me, and that's something that I have on my mirror. Leave no shot. So I don't care if the game, and I'm sorry guys, I'm playing for my life here. The game lasts 4 hours, it lasts 4 hours, but this guy's not going to get many free shots in his pocket. If he does, I'm doing something wrong. But for me, he's obviously a great shot maker. I think I'm a great shot maker playing long pocket as well, but for me, I'm going to take as many fouls as I have to. I'm going to completely keep him off the shot, and I'm going to frustrate him. I don't care if he needs 1 and I need 16. I'm going to make that game last as long as possible, because what it does is wears him down mentally. And that's what I'm good at doing.
So you're going to try to grind him down. That's your strategy.
That's what that's what I do.
You're going to
That's
freeze
what
him
I
and
do.
stuff.
That's what I do.
I don't see any other questions come in.
Let me see here. Question, big match.
Who do you think is a better one pocket player than you?
Nobody. You know that. I don't think anybody's a better one pocket player than me. When I played Alex in Vegas, when we played for 5 days, I was beating him to the shot about 63% of the time. I was beating him to the shot 63% of the time. That means I play the game better. I was missing some long shots because those darn pockets were about 4 inches, and I trapped myself. But I feel that I play the game better, and I should feel that way. But I truly believe that I'm the best one pocket player in the world.
So before you completely leave the game, you're going to try to play Alex again? You're going
Of
to chase
course.
him? You're going to chase him like you
Absolutely.
did
I've been chasing him. What people don't know is all they see is on YouTube that there's 2 matches with me and Alex, and I lost them both. I beat Alex 4 times. I beat him like a drum at the U.S. Open, 9 ball, and I beat him 4 times. Maybe 3, but I think it was 4. But I'm still winner on him in matches. He's winner in money. But yeah, these guys wanted me to play Alex after I beat Efren. And I thought long and hard about it. And I probably should have, but I follow my instincts. If I feel something's not right, I'm not going to do it. And it's tough playing that guy, because he's as smart as I am. I need a lot of aspirin to play him, because I get headaches.
Hey, here's a good one, Scott. 3 words to describe Efren Reyes.
Simply freaking amazing. He's a special human being. I mean, he's you know, it's unfortunate for the younger generation to see where he's at now versus this guy in his prime. I personally feel in his prime, he was 2 balls better than anybody in the world at that time. And so did Ronnie Allen. Ronnie Allen said, and Ronnie Allen was the best American player back in the day. He said he was 10-8 better than anybody in the world. His creativity, his demeanor, his everything at the table was just unbelievable. How do you make a huge mistake and laugh and smile and scratch your head? I mean, I've tried that, you know, and I just not too good at it.
Here you go. Here's a good one. Who's the best looking player?
Oh, I am without a doubt.
Who's the
Without
second
a doubt.
best?
Me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Third too.
Me. No, I'm kidding. Best looking. What? I mean, what do you want me to do?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
we gotta add
how am I
we
gonna-
gotta add a little light to this.
Are we talking guys? What do you want me to say? You want me to say,
Yeah, guy.
you say another
Let's look
guy?
at
Oh, I think Skylar's gorgeous.
Oh, Skyler.
Yeah. You know, I mean,
Scott, why don't you talk about what time and the table and everything? Because a lot of people
Yeah, that's
ask what
good.
time we're starting. And
So we've come to an agreement. We're going to start at 3 p.m. tomorrow. There's a law here that you have to be closed at 2 a.m. and I completely understand that. We're going to respect that. I know that it won't take me 12 hours to play Race to 10. But in case that happens, Lenny's got to get to Chinook Winds. I don't know. Are you leaving Monday?
Yeah.
He's leaving Monday. So if we have to close at 2, and let's say Dennis gets up. Let's say Dennis gets up 10 to 2 tomorrow. Let's just say. And I come back on the next day and I have to get to 20 before he does. Well, that could take a long time. And if that happens, we've got issues. So we're going to have to start earlier and earlier every day. As of now, barring anything silly, we're going to start at 3 o'clock. We're going to play a race to 10. 3 o'clock tomorrow. Is it Eastern?
Central.
Central.
And that is a race to 10, day one player to 10, and then day 2, it's the first player to 20.
That's right.
So,
People always wonder kind of how that works, but it doesn't matter. On day 1, it's first to 10. On day 2, it's first to 20. On day 3, first to 30. On day 4, first to 40.
maybe talk about the rules a little bit.
It's
3
yeah.
foul.
We're playing 3 foul. Any ball touching the line, it's in. What I mean by that is touching the line. It's in the kitchen. Move 2 or more, it's a foul. Make a ball in the break, we re-rack.
Pretty standard rules.
Yeah,
So,
pretty standard.
they want to know about the table too.
Table's 4 1/4. Table's 4 1/4. We actually brought the tabletop up from Alan picked me up at the Chicago airport in a little truck and a big trailer,
all the way from New Albany.
all the way from New Albany, and we brought it from the Diamond They brought it from the Diamond Factory, but it's a 4 1/4 inch table. It's not too tight, and it's not too loose. The table I train on at home, my table, Diamond sponsors me, is 4 1/8, and it plays like a bear. But this table's 4 1/4, and in great condition. This is probably the best playing table that I've had for a match like this, because usually when I play a match like this, the whole table's getting shipped in or to a venue, right? So it has to settle and resettle, and you got to relevel it and resettle. Well, this table's already here. All we did is bring the top. So leveling it, and Greg Sullivan.
Yeah, the master leveling it.
Greg's
about
been
12
here.
times.
Greg's been here 4 days now.
He's there now.
And he's here now. And the guy's an absolute perfectionist. We all love Greg, owner of Diamond, and he's here. But the table's in great condition. It's gonna be awesome. And then for me, I just want to play. I'm really, 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 really tired of waiting. It's not easy. It's not easy. I haven't slept much. Yeah, let's just say that.
Here's another one. What advice would you give aspiring players to focus on mentally?
I give all young players the biggest advice, and that is to dodge distractions and bad things. One bad choice coming up, and I've seen it happen to my ex-road partner. His first name starts with a G, but I've seen it happen to a lot of people. One bad decision in your career can go down the drain. And there's so many distractions on this road that we've taken playing pool. And So I try to tell the young people that that's the biggest thing. You know, you really have to watch who you're around, watch what you're doing, and say no. I mean, really, if something comes up and somebody wants you to do something, I'm not necessarily talking about drugs, anything. Any type of choice you make can affect the rest of your life. And if you want to become one of the best pool players in the world or a professional pool player, all the top players, just look at them. You don't see any of them doing anything real bad. And I'm talking about top players, okay? There's some really good players, but they still haven't gotten to the top. And there might be a reason for that, I don't know. But a lot of them have fallen off too. You have to have a one-track mind. And
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in this life.
it really is. It really
In
is.
bars.
And that's what I was
Place.
talking about. Like, in the next 20 years, what are we going to have? A two-man tournament, Billy Thorpe and Skyler? And who knows? One of those two might get sick of it and quit, or find something else they like to do. We have to get young people playing this game, and now, before it's too late.
I don't really see any other ones coming in.
Here's
Well,
one.
my
How
favorite
physically ready are you, and how do you think Dennis will prepare?
I'm a pit bull, so I'm very physically ready. But for something like this, it's not physical. It's much more mental. You can really, you know, with this type of money involved, you have to really take it easy, because if you overthink, think too hard, stress too hard, you can get. For me, I get a migraine headache. It happens at times, but I'm very prepared. Dennis, I think he's prepared, but he was just down in New Orleans playing a 10-ball bar table tournament, which is not something I would recommend, but, you know, he's a world-class player. I'm sure he's prepared. He wouldn't be playing me if he didn't think he was playing great, so I know that this is going to be a real tough match.
Here's
You
a
know,
good
Dennis hits more balls than anyone I've ever seen. So
one. Here's a really good one. Tell your favorite road story.
Jack Cooney, I was the last guy to go on the road with the legendary Jack Cooney. He is the best hustler of all time. His woman is Barbara. They're still together. Jack and Barbara were my parents, okay? They were my parents. And there was this guy named Mr. Kim in Dallas, and he was an Asian guy, and he had a billiard room, and it was about 15 billiard tables. He had like 2 9-footers, and he had billiard cloth and billiard rails on the 9-footers. So the balls would just fly around the table. But the guy loved to play 50 or 100 a game. So I can't remember what local college it was there, but we went to the shop, and I got the local college shirt on, and we went in. Mr. Kim's there at the counter, and Jack said, you know, my son's getting ready to go to so-and-so, and he'd like to play some 9-ball or 8-ball 50 a game. Long story short, after about a week, I was giving him the 6 in the last 4, and we were up about 12,000 after 7 or 8 days. And right at the end, and this is just one story, but right at the end, he just had enough. He didn't care what the spot was anymore. He barely spoke English. And he comes over, I'm done, we're done for the day, he pays us off. I'm sitting next to Barbara, and he comes over, and he says, I want to play your dad some. So then he wanted to play my dad, which was Jack Cooney. So it was pretty cool, you know. We were there another week, and Jack beat him pretty good. But
That's a pretty good story.
yeah, it's fun. Alright guys, listen, I want to thank everybody. I'm getting dehydrated. I hope y'all enjoy it. The whole purpose to this is to have fun and be positive. Please, please try to shut people down that have negative stuff to say about big matches like this, because we're lucky to have guys like this in the industry, and it won't last forever if people want to destroy that. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'll buy y'all a drink at the Ice House, Mill and Broadway, Tempe, Arizona. All right, thanks.
All right.